when Natalie disappeared, rather than do their jobs, the police looked the other way and let the public do whatever the fuck they. Well, actually, that's not true. The police had to lead the public in a particular direction to make me a target. Now, there's a dating app lady. Nothing to do with Joanna Taylor Smith. There's a dating app lady. She was talking about how she's been doing these dating apps and how she's been single for 2.5 years. She said, if you're not interested in somebody, you should just tell them. Well, I'm going to tell you something. There are people that might be interested in you until you open your fucking mouth. I'll explain. You can be the best looking woman on the internet. If you got a shitty attitude, well, you have to find somebody extremely lonely to deal with your shitty attitude. And you don't have to be pretty to do that. I know some rather large women who are with men who will lay down and take whatever abuse she gives him because he's lonely. However, this woman who is looking through the dating app, she's 33 now, and she's complaining that dating apps suck. And then here's the worst part. She actually said this. She said she's going to do it the old-fashioned way, going through friends, meeting potential mates through friends. And why did she say that she was going to do that? Because then they'll be afraid. She said, then they'll be more afraid of me talking shit to their friends. See, that's all it comes down to right there. He does what you want, or you will go slander his name. Every woman in America has been taught that this is socially acceptable for a woman. It's called gaslighting, and we have literally taught every woman in America that this is okay. Thank goodness for the ones with some morality to them that don't. They tried teaching every German that Jews were stupid, that Jews were thieves, that Jews were inferior people. That's what the Nazis taught. That's what every German child was taught. And yet, there were children in Nazi Germany who were born during Adolf Hitler's reign. They were born during it. Who helped still to free Jews and help Jews to escape. Indoctrination is no excuse. Just so you know, the highest suicide rate in the country doesn't belong to veterans. It doesn't belong to women. It doesn't belong to men. It doesn't belong to whites or blacks or natives. The highest suicide rate in the country is very specifically women who transition to men. Per capita, they are the most likely people to kill themselves. Now, some of the numbers that they have on that are very different. One of the sites that I was reading about said that 3 out of 4 people who transitioned from women to men will attempt suicide. Another one that I was reading said 8 out of 10, which is 4 out of 5. Why would you write 8 out of 10? There was another one that said that over 90%, that would be 9 out of 10, or slightly over. That's because You don't realize how dehumanizing it is to even exist as a man until you have to live it. The first time you realize somebody didn't hold the door open for you and you walk into it, you go, oh, well, that's a fucking wake-up call. Now, what does it come down to? What is this woman's ploy and strategy for dating? She's going to try to date her mutual friends, or date through mutual friends. That means, say, she's got her friend Becky, right? And Becky's got a brother, or maybe some guy that she works with that she gets along with. Maybe she got a cousin. Oh, connection issues. This lady's strategy is to try to string a man out with his social group. If she doesn't get what she wants in that social group, she can destroy his lives by talking shit to his friends. Because she's a fucking psycho. So she wants to complain that these men who meet her through dating apps, you know, if they're not interested, they should say they're not interested. Well, they do. They do say they're not interested. She even admits that they tell her that they're not interested. When they realize what kind of a shit-talking hussy you is, no, they don't want to date you, not even if you're good looking, not even if you're a perfect 10, because you know what? A perfect 10 for looks don't mean shit. If you feel you are owed, well, you're not going to be happy with one of us. You might as well continue fighting for the top 1%. The top 1% of men. Keep fighting for those. You can stay single for the rest of your life. It's your decision. Us as guys, we're told, hey, you know what? Not everybody gets to date a supermodel. And fat girls need loving too. And you guys say, oh, that's horrible, that's horrible. No, it's not. It's true. Just because a woman is not a perfect 10 doesn't mean she doesn't want to be loved. Doesn't mean that she doesn't want positive attention and affection. Doesn't want to believe that she is first in someone's life. Then there's the superficiality of it. If a guy dates a large woman, even a guy that you are not interested in, why is it that you get so jealous of a fat woman having a boyfriend? How is it that that's somehow some horrible thing? See, we get to see a lot of cruelty about looks, primarily out of women. Most of the guys that I know do not care to engage in that looks thing. A lot of the guys I know aren't interested in dating you at all because they can't stand your attitude. They can't stand the attitude that you believe you are entitled to because you are an American woman. Well, you know what? There's one thing to be said about that. Freedom ain't free. The time that we set aside for you, that's our time, and it is our choice to set that aside for you. To treat us as if we are horrible people because we didn't spend the right amount of money, or we didn't take you to the right place to buy you the right things, that we didn't give you an $1,100 gift. Somehow that means that we don't care, that we're not worth the effort. And a lot of y'all, you expect things on the first date. A lot of things on the first date. And you know what? Since every woman is different, when you tell us, hey, what women really want is... No, that's not true. What women really want is as individualistic as each woman. However, what we teach them, what we show them through our actions, when our words don't match our actions. You also get to see how if a man says, fuck it, I'm going to act like a woman. I'm going to act like the women who are destroying my life intentionally because they didn't get what they wanted right when they wanted it. Holy shit! You'd think somebody walked up to them and blew their sister's brains out in front of them. That's shocking and surprising. Holy fuck, how dare a man treat me the way that I treat him? How dare a man talk trash about me when he doesn't get what he wants? Oh, wait. Was it talking trash? Did I run around to all of Natalie Bollinger's friends and family, telling them that she was a child molester? Did I run around to all her friends and family, saying that she touches little boys? Did I run around to all her friends and family saying, oh, she's a cross-dresser? Well, most women today are cross-dressers. I'm not sure if you noticed, but shirts and slacks are commonplace. Dresses are not. Skirts are not. Those are relegated primarily to the dating game or professional business, which is strange. Those are two opposite ends of the spectrum. So basically, in order to get a professional job, you have to have the right looks. And you have to present the effeminate look, because you don't want to be presented as butch. And of course, professional women like that, having to be the stereotypical businesswoman like they have on... All right, I want to ask y'all something. You know that doctor lady on the Law and Order shows? She got blonde hair and glasses. She wears that nice business suit. Well, that's for going into a court of law, right? Why does she wear high-heeled shoes? Why? Are those necessary? That's a torture device, in my personal opinion. As somebody who has worn high-heel shoes, yeah, I do classify it as a torture device. But the other thing is, I don't ask you or expect you to wear high-heeled shoes. And when you want to say it's men's expectations, which men? When you want to dress yourself up with all that fancy paint on your face, right? And you want to say that, well, you only do it because men expect it. Now, I've heard two different versions of the women and their painting the face thing. Sometimes both of them out of the same woman. Oh, I only do that for myself. I only do that for myself. Okay. Well, then why are you complaining that a man didn't pay enough attention after you spent 2.5 hours getting ready? I mean, seriously here. It's not that you change your mind as often as you change your underwear. It's that you've got a built-in excuse for every situation, whether it's bullshit or not. We don't owe it to you to help you move every time you put yourself in a shitty relationship. We don't owe it to you to listen to your sob story every time you go right back to a beating. Me? I did things a bit differently, didn't I? You tell men to let it go. You encourage women to turn it in. But when a woman is the culprit, you will look the other way. Our society is very, very, very good about this. about trying to make every excuse they can for female murderers. How many of you know that there's female nurses have killed more people in this country than all other serial killers combined? That includes male serial killer nurses. We have taught women that if they don't get what they want right when they want to, that they can retaliate. And they're allowed to, even knowing that that retaliation can result in people's death. Pretending a male is a child molester, or pretending that he tried to beat you or rape you because he didn't give you what you want right when you wanted it, and you want a date out of his friends pool. You want to go through mutual friends. Well, how do you think it's going to work out when you want to date one of your friend's brother, and she's fine with it, and then her brother doesn't want to do what you want right when you want it? He wants to go out on Thursday night and play Magic the Gathering with his nerd friends. Kind of like you want to go out on the bar on Friday night with your lady friends. But you want it to be ladies' night. You go out there just with your lady friends. What are the chances that you imbibing in alcohol is going to result in stupid decisions? Pretty good. Alcohol deprives the brain of oxygen. You complain at him that he wants to play Magic the Gathering with his nerd friends because he's a nerd. He just happens to be a good-looking nerd with a good job. But he still has friends. He still likes hanging out with his friends. He still likes playing Magic the Gathering. But you want him to give up his Thursday with his friends. And if he doesn't do that, you're going to treat him like he's a horrible monster because he's not making every single aspect of his life about you. But you're not making every aspect of your life about him. And you are far more likely to cheat than he is. Why? Because you have no respect for him. And you show you have no respect for him. What happens if he doesn't stop playing Magic the Gathering with his friends? Are you going to try compromising? Maybe he go out with you on Friday. Maybe y'all can go out and go dancing at the bar. You and him. Maybe you could learn how to play Magic the Gathering. Maybe you could try taking some interest in the things that he is interested in. A lot of men that I know, they tell me, you know what? My wife was perfect. She was perfect before we got married. Because before we got married, it was a competition. It was about bagging the trophy. Before we got married, she'd pretend to be interested in anything that I was interested in. Whatever it took to get that ring. And as soon as we were married, turns out she didn't like none of it. She pretended to be interested in the things I was interested in. And then as soon as I was married, she wanted me to give it all up. And women will hold you hostage in America if you don't do what they want. This is what they have been taught to do. To hold you hostage. If you don't do what she wants, she will go slander you to your friends and family. The dating app didn't work. So, she's been single for 2.5 years and she's 33 now. And she wants to go back to the old-fashioned way because if a man doesn't give her what she wants, she can destroy his life by slandering him to his friends and family. Sweet! Yeah, that's totally wifey material, isn't it? That is totally dating material, isn't it? I'm sorry, but I find the consistency of snot to be completely disgusting. If I'm going to be willing to exchange snot with you, well, you better have a hell of a personality and see me as a human being and an equal. I'm not going to be the carpet that you rely on and pays your bills while you go out and fuck all his friends. Not going to happen. I'm not going to be the guy that you run around and pretend that he's into little boys, or must be a pedophile, or he must be violent. He's abusive because he told you fucking no. You can't tell a woman no in America without being treated like you're a woman beater or a rapist. No means no. When a married man tells you no and you work with him, what would happen if a man did that? If he kept harassing a married woman? Hey, I get that your husband is taller than me. He makes more money than me. He's better looking than me. He's funnier than me. And he is kind and he is nice. But you should dump him and give me a chance. You should dump him and give my broke ass a chance. You should dump him and give my bald ass a chance. You should dump him and give my short ass a chance. How well would that work out? How quickly would her and all of the other women in the office be trying to destroy your fucking life at work? It would happen immediately. Guaranteed. It is not safe for a man to work with women. It is not safe. I don't mean it's unsafe for the woman. I mean that it is decidedly unsafe for the man. On a job site, especially a construction site, idle chit-chat can get people killed. You have to pay attention to your surroundings. That 2x4, just one little piece, that long, just the very end of a 2x4, dropped from 20 feet up, can break your arm or lodge itself in your fucking head. So when you've got someone who thinks that it's their job to keep everyone entertained, including themselves, with the sound of their own voice, they are a distraction. It's not a distraction because of the way she looks. Have you seen how construction workers dress? She's not showing up in a fucking miniskirt. She's not dressed up looking like a Catholic schoolgirl. All right? She's not. She's wearing work boots. She's wearing work pants. She's wearing a fucking Carhartt with a hood. She is dressed for actual work. She's not dressed for prostitution. She's not dressed for getting gawked at. She's dressed to actually do some manual fucking labor. Most women do not try for a construction job. They will not try. Most of the women who do try a construction job quit within the first 2 days. Most. The majority. As in over 90%. But I tell you what, that one woman who does do a very good job is an excellent fucking carpenter. You know what she knows how to do? Keep her mouth shut about fucking home drama and how to talk shit with the guys. And on a construction site, no, it's not all day long men coming up with quick quips and one-liners where we're hating on women. That is not a construction site. You don't have time for that. You got time for a quick joke once in a great while. Sometimes when you're hanging the drywall, you got two people doing it, and you got time for a little bit of chit chat. How's your day? Good. How's yours? Good. Fine. Let's get this shit hung and get home. When you get a woman who's on a construction site, they're the same way. When you get a woman who works well on a construction site, she understands she has to pay attention to her surroundings. We cannot stop everything we're doing and all of the stuff that we need to pay attention to keep ourselves and our coworkers safe if we're busy listening to you talking about Becky, Rachel, and fucking John. Oh my God, did you hear what Rachel said to Becky about John? I don't fucking care. What's the goddamn measurement? 58 inches? All right, thank you. That's what I needed. You want to make a few jokes about the way your coworkers work? Or a few jokes about some of their, things that are a little different about them. You can do that on a male job site. You have to learn to get over it. You have to desensitize yourself. But when you're talking about manual labor versus being in an office building, man, I gotta tell you, that's scary. There's been a lot of situations where women that I know complain that a man changes the dynamic entirely, that they don't want to work with men because when they go to work and there's a man there, everybody gets quiet. Really? Because I walked into places where it was only women working, and I walked in and it didn't get quiet. Matter of fact, I walked in as a customer in several of those places, and it got decidedly not quiet. Sometimes people look at you funny when you go into a women's boutique and you ask them if they have any bright pink sundresses. But when you're talking about an office building like Cabela's Corporate, we do have a lot of people that did work there that were women. Cabela's was pretty equal opportunity about that. Yeah. Don't like the dating app thing because you can't control a man through a dating app. You can't go to his sister and complain to her when he leaves or try to get his sister to go talk to him for you. How about no? I've had a lot of guys that the reason that they broke up with their wives is because if he didn't give her what she wanted right when she wanted it, she'd go complain to his mom or his sister. And his mom or his sister would come back and say, hey, dude, get rid of her. Instead of his mom and his sister saying, hey, you need to do this for her and you need to do that for her and you owe this to her and that to her. Their mom and sister said, get the hell out. Do not date her. Do not give her another chance. Do not give her another opportunity. This is what happens when your family cares about you and you end up with somebody who wants to date in a social circle that she can influence. So that if she doesn't get what she wants, she can slander your name in that social circle until you do what she wants. I want to thank every woman out there who doesn't engage in these activities. I also want to thank all of the Hispanic folks, all of the Native folks, all of the brown folks in the United States who have done so much to help me when people of my own complexion treat me like a second-class citizen or worse. To all of the brown people here in Oregon, whether they speak English or not, thank you. Thank you for being good to me. Thank you for understanding on a level that my peers cannot. Thank you for understanding that just because of my skin color, it doesn't make Donald Trump my peer. Also, just because a man tells you no doesn't mean he's rapey.